A young mother ringing in the new year became the victim of a rage-fueled crime of passion.
She had been out reveling since it was New Year's.
Detectives believed shortly after she had crossed paths with her killer.
And then came across this individual that made her last moments a hell.
They found her purse about a mile away.
There were exes that were looked at.
They had just broken up. It was a pretty volatile relationship.
The impact on her family was pretty seismic. The aftershocks of it were just, it was a nightmare.
Her killer had been filled with rage.
It was horrible to think she had to endure.
There had been one time where he'd actually tried to hit her with his car when she was pregnant.
The suffering that he did to her last hour of her life.
Tanya's last moments would have been terrifying.
A heart-wrenching tragedy and an arduous journey to justice.
The tragedy of it really lies with the mother not being able to raise her son.
Hi, I'm Nancy O'Dell. Today's Crime Exposé takes us to Pensacola, Florida, known for its sandy white beaches and emerald green waters. It became the unlikely setting for a terrifying mystery when a festive New Year's Eve celebration turned into a nightmare. While Tanya McKinley's family mourned her horrific murder, investigators vowed never to give up on solving her case. It was 5 a.m., and while most Pensacola residents were still sound asleep after celebrating New Year's Eve, a woman made a horrific discovery.
She called 911 and said that she'd found a dead body in the lot across the street from her house.
First responders were alarmed by the brutality of the scene.
She had injuries, multiple injuries to her body. Her head had a laceration, it was bleeding. Officers clearly determined that she was very likely sexually assaulted. Her clothing was in disarray. Her dress was pulled up, her pantyhose were pulled down. There was a towel that was next to her that had blood on it.
The evidence led police to determine she had been killed somewhere else.
They noticed that there was a lack of blood at the scene itself, so that told investigators it was pretty clear that she had been dumped. On top of that, she's on the side of the road. She's in a neighborhood where there's plenty of residents, so they believe that she was transported there in a vehicle.
It was evident the killer had no regard for human life.
This was someone who could care less about what he was doing. It was just dumping a body like it was a piece of trash on the side of the road.
Detectives fanned out and searched the neighborhood for clues.
They found her purse about a mile away, and they found her shoes.
It seemed as though they had been tossed out of a vehicle.
A driver's license was found inside the wallet. The photo on it matched the victim, 23-year-old Tanya McKinley. Detectives had the grim task of notifying her loved ones.
I said, "You're lying. It's not true. I mean, it's just not true."
Detectives asked her family if they would come to the station to identify her body.
They said, "We need somebody to identify her body. Her father says he can't do it. Can you do it?" So one of my aunts went in with me, and I did it, and it was her.
I can't even imagine what that would have been like. Take me to that moment when you had to identify that the victim was your cousin.
Probably the worst thing that's ever happened in my life.
Tanya and her 17-month-old son, Timothy, had just recently moved in with Vanita following a split with the boy's father. Vanita told detectives that Tanya's whole world had revolved around her child.
So she was a really good mom.
But now her little boy would grow up without his mother. Detectives asked Vanita to talk them through Tanya's last known steps. She told police that around 10 p.m., she and Tanya headed to a bar and celebrated New Year's Eve.
It was crowded, and they were giving out, of course, free champagne. It was New Year's Eve. A lot of people were there, a lot of music and dancing. She was going around talking to everyone she knew. She knew a lot of people. She knew more people than I did.
Just after midnight, Vanita was tired and decided to head home. Tanya said she wanted to stay a little longer.
There was a girl there. She's like, "I'll take her. Don't worry about it. She's got a ride." So I assumed she would be the one to give her a ride home.
So did anybody see Tanya after her cousin left?
There were a lot of people that saw her that night. She's talking to one guy at a bar, then after that, she's talking to some friends, and then someone sees someone approach her a little around that time, but it's not totally sure, and then she disappears.
Several witnesses said the last time they had seen Tanya was around 1:15 a.m. Detectives believed shortly after she had crossed paths with her killer. Who do you think could have been involved?
Her ex.
Why did you believe it could have been him?
They had just broken up. She had moved in with me, and it was a pretty volatile relationship.
23-year-old Tanya McKinley had been killed sometime after 1:15 on New Year's morning. The medical examiner's report brought the last moments of her life more clearly into focus.
The medical examiner determined that the cause of death was strangulation. She had bruising to her neck, there was a laceration to the top of her head that was bleeding, and she had abrasions and injuries to her legs, where her pantyhose had been pulled down.
Biological evidence was collected and stored.
Tanya's last moments would have been terrifying. It was something that I know from talking to investigators over the years, gave a lot of them nightmares and haunted them because of what they'd seen.
Detectives were convinced her killer had been filled with rage, which led them to investigate those closest to her.
So the detectives initially were looking at her history to see if there was somebody that she was involved with that could have done something like this. There were exes that were looked at. She was a mother, so there was always a chance that it could have been the father of the child.
Tanya's family told police only one person in her life could have committed the crime.
Tanya had been in a relationship with a guy named Tim Davidson for several years.
So why did you believe that he was the one who committed Tanya's murder?
They had just broken up, and she had moved in with me, and it was a pretty volatile relationship. So everybody that I know believed, that it was him, because they did a lot of fighting.
They had a child together. It was extremely volatile. It was physically abusive. It was mentally abusive. There was a lot of breaking up, then making up, and there had been one time where he'd actually tried to hit her with his car when she was pregnant. It was pretty bad, pretty abusive.
But a week before her murder, Tanya had decided to finally end their relationship once and for all.
She called me to come get her. I picked her up, picked up all of her belongings, and she just said, "I can't be here anymore. I can't take it anymore."
Tanya told Vanita she was determined to create a better life for her young son.
She just said, "I want to finish school. I want to move out of Pensacola. Just want to raise my child and be in a different place."
What did you think her ex-boyfriend did that night?
Everyone just thought maybe he showed up at the bar, he saw her with somebody else, and kind of talked her into getting into his vehicle, and then he killed her.
Well, he had a reputation for finding out where she was. And if she was seeing another guy, he'd show up outside of the guy's house. All signs pointed to him as the guy who killed her.
Detectives brought Tim Davidson to the station and asked where he was at the time of Tanya's murder.
He said he was at a New Year's Eve party about 30 minutes away in a town called Pace, Florida, and he was actually on video, and he had a really good alibi.
Police found multiple witnesses who verified his story.
He had a couple of women that he'd left the party with and went home and stayed with one of them who backed up his alibi.
And ultimately, his DNA did not match the evidence in the case. Detectives theorized that Tanya had accepted a ride home from a stranger that night. The profile was entered into CODIS, the national database for DNA of convicted felons, but there was not a match.
Even though that technology became better and better, they still couldn't find a match.
After dozens of leads were ruled out, the case began to hit a brick wall.
It became a cold case because they'd run through every suspect they could. They chased down every lead they could.
It was crushing for Tanya's family that her killer remained a free man.
He was an evil person. I hope it ate away with him the rest of his life.
As time went by, Tanya McKinley's unsolved murder caught the eye of reporter Tony Adame. He became close with her loved ones and promised to get them an update on the investigation. And when he spoke with the lead detective, Tony's clear commitment to Tanya's family resonated with the investigator, and Tony received a surprising invitation.
We had lunch, we talked, and then he just said, hey, I'm gonna do something I've never done before, and I'm gonna give you the case file, and I'm gonna bring you in. And if you want, you can be part of this investigation team, and you can be there every step of the way.
So why do you believe that he invited you to help with the investigation?
I think for him it was a way to stay connected to her family, and for me it was obviously for a journalist to be inside of an active murder investigation. Unprecedented access.
One question continued to haunt everyone who loved and adored Tanya McKinley.
Why did she get in a car with somebody? Why did she do this?
Law enforcement never gave up on solving Tanya McKinley's murder, and when forensic genealogy emerged, they hoped the new technology would help break the case wide open. The DNA profile was sent to the lab for an analysis.
They were able to piece together some genetic markers to match him to other family members, rather distant family members, and then it was a matter of going through records to identify in those family trees people that were from the area, that may have had criminal backgrounds. And in doing that work, Daniel Wells' name came up on the radar.
The 57-year-old carpenter was immediately put under 24-hour surveillance. An officer soon obtained his discarded cigarette.
The cigarette was taken to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and it was a match. They matched it that evening.
Their investigation was heating up.
We could finally feel that we were actually in the right game. Like we knew now that we had some threads to pull on, and then that's where the real work for me started.
When you looked into his background, what did you discover?
We knew that he was a father and that he wasn't involved in a relationship any longer. He was divorced. We found that there were sexually motivated crimes in his background.
The problem was with the CODIS database, every time he would get arrested, it was pled down from underneath a felony, so his DNA never went in any sort of national database.
Daniel Wells was taken into custody during a routine traffic stop.
Hey, good, how are you doing? I'm Officer Earhart with the Pensacola Police Department. Hey, do you mind talking to me outside? Okay. We'll just step right back here to my car. So you said you were coming from work today?
So once they pulled him over after the traffic violation, they pulled him out of the car, and that's when I approached him and identified myself.
How you doing, Miss Wells?
Yes, you
How you doing? Miss Wells, you're going to have to come with us. We're going to be bringing you down to the police station and have a conversation. These two officers will be taking you down there. All right. Sir, we'll discuss it when we get down there, but you're going to have to get in the car with them.
And he said, yeah, I'll go talk to you. And then there was this kind of mad dash to get back to the police station because they wanted to question him, and they wanted to do it pretty quickly. So it was kind of a ticking clock scenario.
When you took Daniel Wells into custody, what was his reaction?
His demeanor was unusual in the sense that typically you'll have people there questioning what's going on. In this particular case, he was almost as if he was resigned to the fact that this was happening. There wasn't the shock or surprise that you would typically see, and so that was an indicator to me that he had been waiting for this for years.
Sergeant Harnett knew the beginning of the interrogation would be critical.
There was always the possibility that the person who had sexually assaulted her or been involved with her sexually wasn't the person who had murdered her. So the goal was now to connect him to the DNA and then also connect him to the actual murder itself. We had a big piece we needed to close all the other possibilities out.
We're going to go right here to the right, and we're going to go all the way to the last one on the left.
Detective started by showing him Tanya's photo.
Let me show you, Tanya.
Okay.
I mean, this one she would look like if she'd gone out.
Yeah. I don't know her.
Don't know her at all.
No. I've
Never had contact with her?
Never.
Daniel Wells was denying that he had even known her.
They slowly started turning up the pressure.
It's got the chase. So that young lady I just showed you a picture of.
Right.
New Year's Eve was found dead on the side of a road. And I have the evidence that you're the one that's there.
Oh.
I have irrefutable evidence that you're there. I'm not doing all this on a guess. I'm not doing all this
I don't know.
on a hunch. Dan,
Yeah,
tell him you were there.
I wasn't there.
It was then they confronted him with the evidence that proved he was lying.
You know about DNA?
Your DNA is at this site, right? On this person.
It is nobody else's except yours. There's no other explanation. Right? It can't be a possibility of somebody else's DNA. Your DNA is at this scene.
I don't
Do you understand what I'm saying?
understand. I mean, I've never hurt anybody in my life.
We were also able to inject a morality question into the conversation. So we were giving him a choice. And the choice in this particular case was, are you a monster or someone who, because of an unfortunate series of events, had to kill her? You have a choice as to how this impacts you, right? You can share your story about the sequence of events that led to the ultimate end of this. If you don't choose to do that and you don't paint that picture, you're leaving other people to do that for you.
I'm not a monster.
Wells then confessed he had met Tanya at the bar just after midnight.
I remember that her friends had left her, and she wanted to ride home.
He said the attack began when Tanya wanted to go home, but he had other ideas.
We went by my house, kind of got into it, but I hit her, and not just wanting to hurt her or anything, but I hit her, and I realized I had hurt her bad.
You said you hit her in the head.
You know,
What'd you hit her in the head with?
it was a cutting board.
A cutting board?
Yeah, like a wooden block. First, when I hit her, it just knocked her right out. And she just was not responsive at all. And I checked her for breathing and this and that, and she just, I must have hit her hard.
But then you strangled her.
I strangled her.
He then admitted to getting rid of Tanya's body.
So hit her in the head, she goes out.
Right.
You strangle her, you realize, oh, she's really hurt.
Yeah.
Take her out, you put her in the truck, you drive around.
When he said what he did to her, it was pretty dramatic and pretty awful to have to listen to someone describe what had happened to Tanya in her last moments.
Daniel Wells was charged with first-degree murder. Tanya's loved ones were disgusted by the details of his confession.
He took it all. He took her life. He took her dreams.
During his interrogation, Daniel Wells confessed to murdering Tanya McKinley after offering to give her a ride home from a bar on New Year's morning. But the following day, the 57-year-old committed suicide while behind bars. Tanya's loved ones felt robbed. They were never given the opportunity to face him in court. And now, it's time for today's Safety Spotlight. Tanya McKinley's unfortunate murder demonstrates how an innocent night celebrating with friends can turn deadly. Whenever alcohol is involved, so too is risk. To help minimize risk and maximize safety, have a buddy system when going out with friends. Commit to not leaving anyone behind. Always arrive and leave together. Agree to look out for each other. Discourage excessive drinking and risky behavior. And finally, establish a code word or sign that means help, so that you can discreetly alert friends and they can help remove you from any potentially dangerous situation. It's critical we all look out for one another so we can get home safely. I'm Nancy O'Dell. For all of us here at Crime Exposé, please join us next time and stay safe.
He says that she went on what he called a well-deserved vacation.
She's done this before where she hasn't talked to us. She'll just disappear.
Why was Cassandra's family so worried?
They hadn't heard from her in approximately 4 months.
What was your fear?
It's probably not going to be the outcome that we were all hoping for, obviously.
All of a sudden, she's gone. Like, it's not normal.
He had some criminal charges in federal court involving a wire fraud.
He was currently on probation.
we needed to find justice for Cassandra and her child.
Hi, I'm Nancy O'Dell. Today's Crime Exposé takes us to Pensacola, Florida, where police were called to investigate the disappearance of a young mother. The circumstances had everyone questioning if she had simply left on her own. And just as investigators started to get close to that answer, the case took a shocking turn. It was June 8th when Pensacola police got a phone call from the family of 25-year-old Cassandra Robinson.
They've been trying to get a hold of her, and they've had no luck getting a hold of her. They've seen no movement on social media. They're concerned. They hadn't heard from her in approximately 4 months.
She's done this before where she hasn't talked to us. You know, she'll just disappear, but at the same time, she would actually be posting on social media. I can go on there and check to see if she's okay. I'm like, okay, she's still posting, so she's good or whatever. But the last time she made any post anywhere, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, February 1st. So that's why I began to worry.
The last time Cassandra Robinson was seen was at her daughter's first birthday in February.
Investigators began to learn more about the missing woman.
Cassandra was a pretty young female, a mom of a 1-year-old. She seemed to live a pretty normal life for someone her age. She had went to school to be a nurse, but she wasn't working. She was a stay-at-home mom.
With no current address on file, an officer went to her sister's home, hoping to get more information. She told him that Cassandra had struggled with drugs and mental health issues in the past, but she had been in a good place since having her child.
If she was like having, I guess before last time we talked to her, if she was like going through something or bad or something, then we'd probably be like, okay, well maybe she just disappeared in some time. But she was good, like happy, everything was good. You know what I mean? So it's just all of a sudden she's gone. Like it's not normal. Like I said, that's not normal at all.
The last she knew, Cassandra was living with the baby's father, a 53-year-old local businessman named Henry Steiger.
Henry was many years her senior. Henry was currently running a business of roasting coffee beans.
A detective called him. Henry said he also had not seen or spoken with Cassandra since she packed her bags and drove off in their black SUV on February the 1st. Did he know where she went?
He says that she went on what he called a well-deserved vacation.
Henry said they celebrated their daughter Evelyn's birthday and then she left. He said it was something she had been planning for a long time.
She says, I'm breastfeeding this child till she's 1 year old, and on her first birthday, I'm leaving.
Mr. Steiger was not concerned about Miss Robinson being missing. He thought that this vacation that she was on was something that she wanted.
He had said she may have went to Bermuda.
You know, when she left, it was either she's going to get her head clear, come back, or she's never going to come back. Like one of those two things is what I was, prepared for, what she prepared me for.
Police tried to track Cassandra's movements, but just like her social media accounts, everything else in her life had completely stopped after February the 1st.
There was no action on any of her cell phone, her bank accounts, credit cards, no action.
The whole situation felt odd, so investigators decided to pay a visit to Henry Steiger at his home.
When we first got out to his residence, he answered the door and he actually had Evelyn, who's the 1-year-old child, he was holding her in his arms.
Henry was cooperative and explained that he and Cassandra were no longer in a romantic relationship, but that she had continued to live in his house so they could co-parent.
He said that at that point in time that he looked at her as like a sister.
Henry said he cared about Cassandra and wanted to make sure she was mentally okay. He says that's why he supported her desire to take a break. He then walked detectives around the home.
He showed us some suitcases that he says Cassandra took with her, specifically a silver one and a purple one. He says she took the matching suitcases with her. He showed us all the breast milk that he had stockpiled in the freezer that Cassandra had been pumping because she wanted to make sure that Evelyn had enough milk while she was on her well-deserved vacation. There was no signs of any kind of struggle. Actually, the house was pretty clean.
On the surface, it appeared as if Cassandra had simply run away. But as Henry continued the tour of the home, investigators noticed something.
The vehicle she would have left in and the keys to that vehicle were back inside the residence.
Henry had told police that Cassandra left in that SUV, but had no real explanation for why it was back at his home. He said it was just there when he woke up the next day.
These were all red flags for the detectives.
Investigators were suspicious, and they knew they were going to need to dig deeper if they were ever going to find the truth. He was currently on probation for those charges.
You can't have bank accounts or didn't want the feds knowing about his banking situation.
Detectives were concerned about some of the inconsistencies in Henry Steiger's story and decided to take a closer look at him.
After meeting with Mr. Steiger, the police began to look into his past, and they saw that he had had some criminal charges in federal court involving a wire fraud.
He was currently on probation for those charges.
Our office began speaking with people who may have known Mr. Steiger, his friends, his acquaintances, his co-workers, and one of them was Julian Major.
Major was a young guy who Steiger had hired as his right-hand man.
Julian thought that he was learning how to run a business through Henry, and I believe that's what his ultimate goal was to run a business.
Major denied knowing anything about Cassandra's disappearance, but did say how loyal he was to Steiger, even opening a bank account in his name for Steiger's coffee business.
When I dug a little deeper into the bank account information and why he did that, Julian's response was that Henry told him that he's on federal probation and he can't have bank accounts or didn't want the feds knowing about his banking situation.
And there was much more to it.
He was instructed by Henry to go make various small deposits that did not exceed the $9,999. Henry told him if it goes over that money, the bank has to report that to the feds. And he didn't want any of the deposits being reported to the feds.
Major had unknowingly admitted that he and Henry Steiger were involved in a money laundering scheme. Based on his statements, investigators were able to get a search warrant for Steiger's home to look for evidence of a financial crime.
We find over $100,000 in cash. We find 2 Apple cell phones, 2 Apple laptops.
Henry Steiger was arrested and taken to jail for violating his federal probation.
Well, it is a story that I don't think anyone would believe, and that's my problem.
With Steiger behind bars, the investigation into Cassandra's disappearance heated up.
The police continue to look into Henry Steiger, and they look in his phone records and see he contacted people shortly after Cassandra went missing.
One was a man named Shelby Johnson. Investigators brought him in for questioning. He also denied knowing anything about Cassandra, but after his interview was over, he called police.
At that time, Shelby tells us that, hey, I forgot to tell you, Henry parked a trailer out on my property, and you're more than welcome to go look at it if you need to or whatever.
Detectives went to Shelby's property to take a look at the trailer. As they approached, they could smell the undeniable smell of human decomposition.
Once I smelled the smell coming from the trailer, my immediate thought was, okay, she's going to be in this trailer. We've potentially located Cassandra, and it's probably not going to be the outcome that we were all hoping for, obviously.
Investigators were able to open the trailer with keys they had found at Steiger's home. Once inside, they saw 2 green 55-gallon sealed drums in the back.
We open one barrel and it's empty. When we open the second barrel, you see the remains of Cassandra in the bottom of the barrel.
Upon entering the trailer at Mr. Johnson's property, when we discovered Cassandra Robinson, I was there and we knew right away that we had found her.
Cassandra was identified quickly by her distinctive tattoos. The missing persons case was now a homicide investigation.
The medical examiner in this case was unable to determine a cause of death based on the condition of her body. The medical examiner ruled this case a homicide. We knew at this point our job has begun. We needed to find justice for Cassandra and her child.
Investigators went to confront Henry Steiger with what they found, hoping for a confession.
I don't think it was a planned and on purpose thing, because you love little Evelyn, and I don't think you would do anything to harm Evelyn or harm Evelyn's mother.
Of course not.
Something happened, and I need to know from you what happened. I don't want my mind to be spinning and everybody else's mind to be spinning. I just need to know what happened, and I need to know it from you.
Well, it is a story that I don't think anyone would believe. And that's my problem.
Detectives then showed him pictures of Cassandra's body, but that didn't seem to elicit any reaction.
What is it that you are asking me to explain?
How Cassandra wound up in this barrel, sealed in your balloon trailer, parked in Shelby's property.
Well, do you think I need the opportunity to explain to you with professional assistance?
Detectives took that statement as Steiger asking for an attorney and quickly ended the interview. But they still pressed forward, determined to build a case against him.
So our next step was, well, let's turn the heat on Julian and see what Julian tells us.
Phone records show that Steiger had called Julian Major the night of February the 1st when police believed the murder had occurred. Investigators brought him in for another interview, this time convinced he was involved. Major once again denied knowing anything, but detectives say they knew he was lying and kept the pressure on.
I care about that I found her dead body in a barrel, rotting in a trailer. That's what I care about. It's very horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible, Julian. And you were a part of it. There's your dead body in the trailers. Why don't you want to see it? Why don't you want to see it?
You're seeing a dead body and I don't want to.
Well,
Julian, tell us what happened.
tell us what happened that night.
Can you move the picture of the dead body away? I don't want to see it.
All right. It's gone. Tell us what happened.
Major finally cracked. He said that when he got to Steiger's home that night, Cassandra was already dead. Steiger told him they had gotten into a fight.
He said that she was frantically packing, and she was grabbing all of her stuff, and she was telling him she's gonna leave, grabbing the baby. And he said he didn't really say that, though. He implied.
Okay. What did he imply?
That he strangled her.
Julian Major indicated that he was called by Mr. Steiger to help move Cassandra Robinson's body.
Major admitted that he helped Steiger get rid of Cassandra's iPhone and iPad.
When we asked him if he remembers where it was at, he said yes. And Julian took one of our other detectives out to where they discarded the items, and what we believe is Cassandra's phone was still laying in the drainage ditch. It never got down into the water to where it could be washed away.
Major said he never saw or touched Cassandra's body, but prosecutors weren't convinced.
Julian Major was charged by the state for accessory after the fact to second-degree murder. This is for his help in moving Cassandra Robinson after the crime. Julian Major was sentenced by the court to 15 years of probation with 2 years to be served in the county jail.
As part of his sentence, Major was ordered to testify against Henry Steiger during Steiger's murder trial the following year. But it wasn't Major's story everyone was waiting to hear.
Henry Steiger, after the state put on their evidence, decided he would take the stand in his own defense. Henry Steiger was responsible for her death.
Henry Steiger got on the witness stand and told the courtroom he was ready to explain the truth about what happened that night.
Henry Steiger indicated that Cassandra Robinson killed herself. He said that it was suicide and that she had a Publix bag inside of her mouth and that she had choked and died from that.
Steiger said he panicked that everyone would blame him for Cassandra's death. So instead of calling police, he placed her inside the barrel to cover up what had happened. Prosecutors weren't buying his new version of events.
Cassandra did not kill herself. She did not place herself in that barrel. Henry Steiger was responsible for her death.
The jury agreed and found him guilty of second-degree murder.
Second-degree murder in the state of Florida requires the killing with a depraved mind.
So what was his motive? I mean, why did Steiger kill Cassandra?
For Henry Steiger, their baby, his baby, was everything to him. That's why he acted the way he did when Cassandra said that she was going to leave him. And I think that's also why he had hid the body, so that he didn't lose custody of her after he killed her.
In the end, Steiger's actions ended up costing him everything. He was sentenced to life in a Florida state prison without the possibility of parole. Baby Evelyn is now being raised by Cassandra's family. And now it's time for today's Safety Spotlight. If you are ending a relationship and children are involved, take precautions to help maximize your safety and theirs. Establish custody through the courts so the parameters are clearly documented. If conflicts arise, meet at a police station for the exchange or at the child's school to ensure the safe transfer of custody. Avoid making threats to take a child away from the other parent, as this may motivate the other parent to retaliate in some manner. And if threats are made against you, take them seriously and contact law enforcement and your attorney. The well-being of your children is paramount, but so too is your safety. I'm Nancy O'Dell. For all of us here at Crime Exposé, please join us next time and stay safe.